Good morning. Today is Tuesday, June 20th, 2023. And today our topic is being a student of the business. Or more aptly put, we could also say the types of people in the business. The mistake a lot of us make is that we don't understand how the holistic play works. And when I say holistic, I mean how the big picture works. A lot of us see the business as a one-size-fits-all. It isn't a one-size-fits-all. There are many things that need to happen. So, for example, those of us who've been around for a while, I am sure we've heard and we've had people tell us that the business does not work. They're actually correct. The business does not work. You work. If you work, the business works itself. So, you run into people and they have no results. And you ask them that, what's going on? They'll say, well, I've been in this business for 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 years. I'm not making money. Nothing is happening. I'm not making any progress. And the thing there is that that's strange because the business seems to work for a lot of people. And even if it doesn't work for a lot of people, the business works for some people. Let's even make it some. And if the business works for some, and it doesn't work for others, then maybe the business isn't what makes the difference. There must be some other factor. Well, some will say, well, okay, that's fine. Maybe, and let's even talk of the recruiting end of things. Maybe everybody is happy with their job. Maybe people are getting paid more money working jobs, whatever. Of course, this is strange. Why? Because everybody in this business, this specific business, has the same access to people as you and I. Nobody in this company gets a special set of incentives, let's put it that way, to bring people on board, to have people join the business. Everybody who is successful here has the same exact access to the population of the United States as you and I. So definitely having access to people is not what makes the difference. Some might say, well, I have chargebacks. If I didn't have chargebacks, if I didn't have those kind of issues, it will be easier to make more money. Why do I have to have such chargebacks? Well, guess what? Same thing. Everybody in the company has the same standards when it comes to policies. They have the same way you run into chargebacks, they run into chargebacks. Yet, despite running into chargebacks, there are people at every level. I mean, we heard of a senior rep or rep who made $10,000 last month. Or is it this month? I don't even remember. But the point is, there are people at every level, rep, senior rep, district, division, regional, RVP, who make money. So obviously, it's not the way compensation works. And then the person they might not say it to you, but they'll be thinking it in their heads. So what are you trying to say? Are you trying to say it's my fault? Are you trying to say I'm lazy? Are you trying to say I don't put in the effort? Are you trying to say, whatever? Are you accusing me of not giving it my best? Well, what you want to say to your person is, let me ask you a few questions about how you are attempting to build your business. Mr. Teammate, Mr. Potential Client, let me ask you how it is you are attempting to build your business. Okay, go ahead. What are the questions? Number one, when you give presentations to potential teammates, Do you know how to close properly? Do you know what to say to each of the 3 reasons that encourage people to join? 3 reasons. What are the 3 reasons? I don't know what the 3 reasons are. Okay. In the video close there, okay, let's even remove the 3 reasons. Let's say in the video close where it's at A, B, or C, do you know how to overcome the areas of concern linked to B? Do you know how to translate a B into an A? I'm not really sure. I'm not really that good at it. Okay. When talking with potential people, do you know what to say to them? Do you know the 2 or 3 things you can say to them to to make their interest go up in order to make an intelligent decision as to whether they even want to hear what you have to say? Do you know how to translate a person who is a regular person you've never met before into a friend who is ready to listen, ready, willing, and able to listen to what you have to say? I don't think I'm familiar with those things. Maybe I don't know how to talk to people. Okay. When you talk to people, what's the first thing you say to them to get them to lean forward with interest as opposed to leaning back? When you're doing a Zoom, what do you say to them? How do you engage them so that they lean forward because they're interested as opposed to leaning back and folding their arms? Well, I didn't even know there was such a thing. I kind of make it up as I go. I'm not really sure what to say to get people interested, but it really doesn't matter because I don't have that many appointments on any given day, or I don't do that many presentations anyway. You don't have that many presentations. Okay, so what do you say to people to turn them from regular people to an appointment? If you know what to say to open up the conversation, when you're ready to take them in that direction, you can set an appointment with almost 100% of the people you talk to. Do you know what to say? I don't have a clue. I am not sure. Maybe that's why I can't get appointments for a presentation. I mean, I'm just giving you guys a role play as to what some of you are thinking, what's going on in your head. I'm not saying I'm in your heads that I'm 100% correct, but I've been here long enough to know that that's how people are thinking. Okay, so let's say you're out and about. Like yesterday, I asked everybody to come to Central Park to prospect because there were a lot of things going on. Okay, so you meet somebody while out and about. You think they might be a great prospect for the business. What simple question can you ask that will build trust or build rapport? Average person, I don't know. Okay, what can you say to a person? What question can you ask that will create an interested person on demand? Like what? And again, guys, the point I'm making here is there are things you need to master that if you say them 99 out of 100 times, they will work. So what questions do you need to ask to create an interested prospect on demand? The person on the other end, I mean, the teammate is like, I might do better if I knew what to say and do. Okay, great. Where is the best place to find great prospects? Person's like, I wish I knew how. How do you turn a neutral person into a great prospect? I don't know. I wish I knew how. And so on. And guys, that's how the conversation goes with most people. If you want to take it that far, they are not getting results, and you ask them why you're not getting results, and they'll blame everybody. But when you start asking questions to see the depth of their ability, what you discover is that the depth is very, very shallow. The depth is very shallow. So a lot of people want to earn a lot of money, but the challenge is, guys, and this is the truth, but a lot of you don't invest the time and energy to learn and practice the skills necessary to earn the big bucks. A lot of you don't invest the time and energy to learn and practice the skills necessary to earn the big bucks. And the truth is, everything you need to learn and everything you learn to do is at your fingertips. Like I said this yesterday, you need to be fanatical about being a student of the business. Any chance you have to be around someone more successful than you, be there and learn. Now, some of you might say, well, I've been around for 2 years with code. Okay, you've been here for X number of years. Are you making money? Are you successful? If you're not successful, then you can still learn. I've been around my father is in his 70s. I've been around him my whole entire life. My father is an obstetrician gynecologist. I've been around him my entire life. If a woman is giving birth and you ask me, and she needs like a C-section, a cesarean section, or she has a birth, I know what those things are. I can't do them because I haven't learned. Even though I've been around him, I have not been a student of his craft. Same thing with Pre-America. You can be here for as long as you want to be, but if you are not a student of this business, you don't even have the starting block. Now, once you are a student of the business, the next step is you have to proactively practice. You have to proactively practice. Because this is what happens. So for example, no reason everybody here shouldn't get 10 names and numbers from prospecting people every day, at the very least. But this is what happens. Some of you go up to a few people and they say, no, I'm not interested. Hell no, not for me. And what do? You convince yourself that this business doesn't work. You need to get 10 names on your way to the office. You go talk to person one says no. You go talk to person two says no. You go talk to person three says not interested. What do? You convince yourself that this business, at least this aspect of the business, at this moment in time, doesn't work. And then some of you to go talk to another, however many people you need to talk to so you can get your 10 names and numbers. What do? You go sit down somewhere in a corner and you sleep. And at the end of the day, you get to the office and you have no inventory. None, zero, zilch, nada. You come here and what do? You pick up the phone to call a few people. First person says no. Second person says no. Third person might say no. What do? Convince yourself again that this business is not working at this point in time. And so for the rest of the day, what do? You are engaged in busy work. What is busy work? Busy work is anything that is not being an appointment or setting up an appointment. Now, when you become an RVP and you're trying to do big things, you have other projects you have to work on if you want to create what you need to create for your team, which is what I do these days. Unfortunately, I'd rather be setting appointments. But for all of you, you don't have that responsibility. You're not here building a mega hierarchy. You're here just getting yourself to RVP. Get yourself to RVP first. And when you get yourself to RVP, get yourself to the point where you actually have a team. But the point is, when you don't think those things, when you don't think those things, which is the business doesn't work, this doesn't work, or what have you, you get to your third person, the person says no. You get to your fourth person says no. You get to your fifth person says no. You keep going. The numbers are the numbers. Eventually, somebody is going to say yes. And after that person says yes, you get gingered, you get excited, you get, and you go talk to the next person. The next person might say yes. The next person might say no. It doesn't matter. Because your objective is to get your 10 names. And as you're going through the process, you are taking mental inventory of what works, what doesn't. Let's say it's a sunny day. Everybody might want to talk about the weather. You're prospecting someone. Hey, question, how do I get to PQR Street? La, 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 la. Okay, thank you so much. By the way, the weather is amazing, isn't it? Yeah. Do you remember last week when we had those wildfires from Canada? Wasn't that crazy? Yeah, it was. I actually came out of my house and I had to go right back in. It was so terrible. I know. What do you think happened? Do you think the fires really started by themselves? I don't know, but it was very strange. Wow. Do you work outdoors or do you work indoors? Oh, I work as an accountant at XYZ firm. Oh, then you're lucky. That means you definitely didn't have to stay out. I mean, can you imagine people who work as police officers or, other people who are outdoors? Yeah, I know, that's crazy, isn't it? So how long have you worked as an accountant? Oh, I've been there for 4 years. What kind of accounting do you do? I'm a forensic accountant. Oh, nice. Do you love it? I do. So that must pay a lot of money because I know accountants really generally get paid big bucks. Nah, it's not as good as you think it is. Really? Yeah. Question for you. It just so happens I have a friend whose company is expanding. They're looking for people with an accounting background. Are you keeping your work options open? What's it about? I don't know, but I know they're looking for accounting people. Okay, yeah, sure. Let me get your number. Boom, 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 boom. I'll have them call you. That's perfect. What's your name, sir? Bobby Brown. Okay, great, Bobby. My name is Alexander. It's been a pleasure. Boom. See, your energy is flowing. The conversation is starting. Like yesterday, I was at a networking event out on Long Island. I don't know those people, but by the end of the event, I knew their stories. I'm talking to them. One was in the DEA, found out his stories. Another one is a principal of a school in, I don't know where district, whatever it is, I think in Queens, found out his story. Another one is actually an accountant who works on 45th Street for a law firm, found out his story, and so on and so forth. Why? Because again, I am a student of the business. I am a student of the business, and you have to be the same. So the point is, now, your goal is to learn. So now you're like, okay, I started talking about the weather, but if you noticed, I started talking about how nice the weather is, but I was able to segue from how nice, actually, let me repeat that. I started by asking for directions. And I went from asking for directions, which is specific to me, to talking about the weather, which is specific to everybody, to talking about what he does, which is specific to him, to talking about my company, which is specific to me, and I got his number. But again, the reason I'm able to do that is because I have and I do work on developing my skill set. I want to earn the big bucks. And when I say big bucks, I'm talking of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20, 30, $40,000 a day. But I need to have the skill set necessary for that. So again, what am I trying to tell you? All the things you need to learn to win in this business, you get them. But the way you get them is by showing up to training and then executing the things you learn. And even if you don't show up to training, there are enough resources out there. There are more than enough resources out there, both human and digital. Digital being digital copies of books, human being people you can talk to. So again, but you have to learn these things and you have to keep on practicing them to get to the point where you need to get to. The thing is, and guys, if you understand what I'm about to tell you, you will be better off. It's very hard to know what you don't know. Let me say that again. It is very hard to know what you don't know. And what most of you here don't know is what it feels like to consistently make $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, $10,000 in 1 week. You don't know. You've heard of people doing it. You know it's a good thing, but you don't know what it's like. So my responsibility to you is to make you aware of what you don't know by empowering you as best as I can. But your responsibility is to be a student of the business, which is you show up, you get better by implementing what we do. Not show up just to be here and say, okay, coach, I was at M3 training. Okay, coach, I was at Thursday training. Okay, coach, I listened to Carnegie. No, all that is wonderful. But learning and applying is more important. Learning and applying is more important. You have to remember as well, guys, think of it this way. If we're all rocking and rolling, there can be 1,000 of us running forward. We're all going for the gold. But how many of us can drag more than one person? Probably no one. It's very difficult to drag someone to success. I've tried it with you guys. I can't drag any of you. No matter how hard I try, I can't get you to win if you don't want to win. I can give you all the tools in the world. I can go out of my way 100 times a day to help you win. But if you don't try, it's not going to happen. I just can't drag you. I just can't drag you. I can do my best to build you, to make you successful, but I can't drag you. Now, having said all that, let's go back to kind of what we spoke about yesterday. Your main responsibility here in this business, if you want to be successful, is to build leaders and make them successful. How do you build them? By first and foremost being the example of what you want your people to be. If you are nowhere to be found, that's the example of what you want your people to be. If you don't return calls, that's the example of what you want your people to be. If you don't follow through, that's the example of what you want your people to be. If you don't know how to run the play at any given time, that's the example of what you want your people to be. If you don't know what the fundamentals are, that's the example of what you want your people to be. So if you want to build leaders and make them successful, follow your leader. Follow your leader, be like him, in this case, me. Thankfully, I work. There are some leaders that don't work, so their people have to bypass them and find other leaders because their leaders are nowhere to be found. That's not the case here. So all you have to do is be like me, work like me, and have the results I know you've seen me get and you know I can get. So again, in this business, as long as you build leaders and again, guys, making them successful doesn't mean they're making $100,000 within 6 weeks. It simply means that they are learning the business and executing the business. Any of you here, if you consistently get 10 names and numbers a day, that's 3,650 numbers a year. If you get 3,650 numbers a year, I don't care how bad you are. 1% of those people will join your business. 1% of 3,650 is 36 people. 36 people divided by 12 is 3 people a month. Even if you are the worst person here, if you get 10 names and numbers a day, you will recruit 3 people a month. And if you recruit 3 people a month and you run through one cycle, just one cycle of 8531 with just one of them, just one, you will do at least 3,000 in premium every month. That's you being super duper duper part-time. And you go replicate that, you have one person who does the same, boom, you're already at 6,000. You have two people who do the same, you're at 9,000 in premium. You have 5 people who do the same, you're at 15,000 in premium. It's not that hard. So again, your essence here is to build leaders and make them successful. Why do you want to have leaders? Because leaders make your life easy. Leaders make you financially secure, but leaders are very, very rare. Leaders are very, very rare. And I mentioned this yesterday. All of us have good people. Yeah, he's a good guy, she's a good lady. But again, good people are not leaders. They're just good people. They're just good people. So again, what are leaders? Let's go over this again kind of quickly because we touched this at length yesterday. But what are leaders? Leaders are people who can get the most out of their new people, who help them become more than they can become alone. Leaders are the people who make sure that their people have all the tools they need, knowing where to go, where to be at every point in time. Leaders are people who never complain to their downlines about why things are not going well. Leaders are people who don't whine to their upline as to why things are not happening. I mean, we've actually had people go, oh, I don't like what's going on. To do all that. Leaders have their own goals and aspirations. I don't have to tell you what your goals and aspirations are. You need to know yourself. Leaders conduct regular meetings for their teams, even when the main meet, like every day. Guys, every single one of you here, should have a team meeting every day for your team. If your team is just you, that's a problem. Go find someone, but every day have a meeting. Doesn't matter, like I've told you guys before, when I was in Coach Andre's base shop as a new person, before I even had my license, I was having meetings with my people. It took me a month to get a license. There was no licensing class, but every day I'll have a meeting. I'll call them, hey guys, we're meeting today at 6 p.m. at the office. They'll come through, okay, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? Who's going to class? Who's getting licensed? Who's doing this? Who's doing that? Who's taking us in the field? Every day. By the time I had my license, I went from rep to division leader because the numbers were already there and I had a bunch of people with me. So you have to have those meetings. Don't think you have to be at a certain contract level to have meetings. Have meetings for your people every day. It's a Zoom world. You can literally have Zoom meetings. Hey guys, we're all meeting at 11 a.m. Plug in. Zoom is open all the time. Your people plug in. If it's one person, if it's 10 people, you quickly go over something. Let's do this. Let's challenge ourselves. Let's do this. Let's make this happen. Boom, 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 boom. What else? A person who is a leader is in control of his or her attitude and doesn't let outside influences control his or her success. A lot of people are either very high or very low. Why? Because society is doing something. Don't be that person. And of course, leaders have to have a strong personal example of a steady focus on the ultimate goal. Steady focus. A lot of leaders or people who call themselves leaders are not focused. If I ask you, what are you focused on today? Even if you talk a good talk, and I say, okay, what were you focused on yesterday and what were the results? Can't be that way, guys. You have to have that focus because, again, that's what leaders do. And again, I know I said the other one was lastly, but lastly, I think the main thing a leader has to have is happiness when their upline is not around. Why? And I said this yesterday, why? So that leader can do their business peacefully without interference while taking responsibility, being in control, and having success. Some of you don't want to be around me, and it's normal. It's not just in Team Alpha or in Primerica. It's normal in every business, so that you can take it easy. No, you should not want to be around me because you know that when you're not around me, you are actually what? Taking responsibility, being in control, and enjoying tremendous success. All right, people, that's it for this morning's M3. We will, I mean, obviously Zoom is live, but we